I have your Stav Zilberstein. I know the Stav. Everybody knows him. You moved actually from Israel to Malta, to Europe, like Oron. Oron had moved to Sofia. You moved to Sliema. When? How much time?
Well, actually, I lived in Germany.
In Germany before.
Yeah,
So it was Israel, then Germany.
Germany, Malta.
And then Malta. Yeah. And you run Hyperion Tech, a very well known in the industry specific development company. And thank you so much. I convinced him and he came. So let's start. We're here, in Bulgaria, in Eastern Europe. What is so special in Eastern Europe that makes it very special for development?
Well, we see that there is on-rising need for developers in general in Western Europe, in the United States, in other countries. And the situation is that because in Eastern Europe there is less investor capital, for example, in the Ukraine, you can see that the Ukraine is turning into an IT nation and mainly full of outsourcing hubs. And there is a very significant amount of developers that is growing there, actually around roughly 200,000 of them in the end of 2017 and expected to continue growing. So this is what we do with Hyperion. We actually created an EU-based company in Malta where I am, and then we have a development center in the Ukraine with 100 developers already working as dedicated teams for enterprise clients in the iGaming, fintech, and blockchain industry. So the opportunity is great also for companies that, for example, operate in Bulgaria, where resources might be more scarce, but the industry is still evolving. There is need of technological developments for iGaming, and then the Ukraine can be a great connection for as an outsourcing partner.
It's funny, I work with many clients who are based in Eastern Europe and Central Europe, and I see that there is also a difference in the English. Bulgarian, it's funny. It starts with I think that. In Strange, I can compare it, but I see that in Ukraine sometimes the developers have much better English, and I don't want to make any offense or generalization. Do you agree with that?
Well, I don't know about here, but I know that in the Ukraine the English levels are very good and sufficient in written and in spoken in senior developers. And we already take it to the next level because we created our own English school in the Hyperion building. So we have a full-time English teacher. Wow. And we're actually having English learning courses for all of our developers. Amazing. 3 times a week in the afternoon. And the attendance rates are high because I always check on that expense in the budget. Do people still go to the English class? And yes, they do. So it's actually, it's going really well.
Amazing. Wow, amazing. And of course, no good generalization. We have here lots of people here from Sofia, amazing English. But the funny stuff also, only 15,000 developers, I think, in all Bulgaria, where, in places like Kharkov, you have 15,000 in one city.
Only in the city that we're in, like the second biggest city, and that's already 14% of the developers. So
Stav, doesn't it make like a challenge? I heard about companies that has like a pool of developers, and then let's say you have this pool of developer working with BetaG and with 888 and maybe with Playtech. How can a company get track of the developers?
So actually, this is really a hard challenge. The traditional IT companies in the market usually work with a pool of people, like you say, and these people are shuffled amongst different projects, and they're also often painfully moved amidst project to another project, and then you lose your seniors and you lose your momentum. This is why actually in Hyperion we do it differently. We work with only a dedicated team set up per client, dedicatedly only for that task, so it can never be shifted. And yeah, you're totally right, because it's really a pain point that seniors are getting shifted in mid-projects, and this is why many people feel that they're burned from outsourcing, because they say, while outsourcing, they will move my talents away and my team will slow down, the project will get destroyed, but it doesn't have to be this way.
So if I understand correctly, in your point of view, and as an experienced head of a developing company, in your point of view, each project has their own team, and there's no working on the pool. Okay,
we do only dedicated teams. That's the idea. That is how it will be a win-win also for clients, because this is how we believe it's supposed to be.
Okay, that's a really nice approach.
I would also add that just for what we're witnessing through working in the industry. So big data used to be consumed only for BI purposes when it started to rise. So businesses just used big data to analyze performance inside their businesses and to try to find insights, better predictions on their actual business. But there is a whole land of case of usage of big data. And I just want to give one simple principle that can help anyone here that does anything with big data in terms of marketing or any other aspect of big data. The human mind cannot process big data. To be honest, the human mind cannot process even a simple table full of numbers and columns. You will need to sit down with a coffee. If you don't have ADHD, so it will take you 1 hour to understand more or less what's it about. The human mind can communicate very well with visuals. So if you can visualize big data into simple concepts, something that someone can look at and make sense, this is why there was a rise in the last years of infographics on the trend of analyzing data into human digestible formats. So the visual formats will always stay. So if you are collecting or participating in big data in any way and you want to develop something, a product, a solution, B2C, B2B, the way it will win will always be if you implement a simple visualization for your audience or whoever using the system that it can digest the data. That will be a very, very important step.
That's an amazing tip, Stav. So if I understand correctly, that's one of the tips is to take and to visualize it and make it less generalized and more.
Yeah, just, we started with the ugly Microsoft Office in 20 years ago.
I like it. I like Windows 95.
We just had like a pie chart, but today there are so many other creative ways just to visualize data in a simple way, that someone can just look and say, oh, now I understand what we're talking about, like this.
Agreed. Well, what are the tips? And as we're now reaching the end of this panel, I want to hear from each one of you, of my great speakers from all around the world. I want a tip from each one of you to increase ROI and to make sure that we're all continuing successful. Stav, you're a successful entrepreneur, still an entrepreneur, speaking with me all around the world. What tip can you give this great audience regarding the topic of
innovation? Well, I would say that we have to make some kind of a rehab from the buzzword innovation and move to innovating instead. And I'm saying that just because many companies think that by segmenting an innovation budget and say 10% of our budget is innovation, let's set up a team of directors or managers, you're innovation responsible, go innovate, It has to be a state of mind of a company in every level of your company. It has to be in product, it has to be in higher management, it has to be in C-level, it has to be in the board of directors. Everybody has to have the set of mind that we have to take risks. We don't need an innovation budget. An innovation budget will just be burned and nobody is going to stick their necks out when the innovation failed to say, well, we wasted a lot of money, so who is responsible for this now? If the approach in the entire company is not going for, I understand that it's innovate or die, because, by the way, this is the case for every company. Read any person that study economics. See that companies are thriving in times of innovation, and when they start on optimizing the logistics cycle, they die. It's always like that. So it's not going to be different also in the iGaming industry. And those who will adapt fast and say, okay, we have to start being in more of a risk-taking mindset and start getting into everyone involved in the organization, then there's going to be innovation. So it's more about, let's shake all of these innovation concepts for what do we need to do this year on our list? Oh, we need also innovation. No, it has to be like a state of mind of a company that takes the risks, and then you will see innovation. It's the people that work for you are the ones that are going to innovate if they feel safe. Yeah. They are going to try.
You can see it also on yourself, Stav. You were in a comfort zone in Israel, and then you moved outside, and then, Hyperion started to be a worldwide success. It was much more easier probably to stay in your comfort zone, and then the day you came with an innovative topic and an innovative solution.
If you do the same things you did, you're going to get the same results you had.
Right.
That's how it works. So yes, you always have to get out, do something risky, and get it back. It's just the CEOs cannot sit down and be afraid to lose their profits, because in the end, all of the profits will be gone. You have to innovate.
Thank you so much. And of course, thank you to the audience and to the organizers.